And we are live. Welcome to episode 2 of Sofa Soul, where we pour our souls into our sofas and we just don't hold back on this virtual platform. I want to thank all the performers that are out here tonight to show out on this virtual stage. It's going to be an honor representing you guys here at Sofa Soul. And before I get into the amazing poets and this beautiful feature for tonight, I do have a little poem that I'm going to spit, on episode number 2. I know that the first episode I didn't really spit anything, but I'm definitely coming with something on this go around. So just once again, I just want to thank Souletri for having all of these poets really, really come out and have the voices on this platform. So I just want to thank you so much. Shout out to Jose and shout out to Souletri. This poem, guys, is called Welcome to My Depression. I'll assure you this isn't every other poem. There's always a twist of just choking, grabbing the hands of a poet wrapped around the throats of a hostess. A little mini protest, annoying to you, but if you understand, just fold them. Because you owe them an explanation about how you just flowing and growing, and you did it all broken. Because perfect couldn't show them how lonely grows on him, and then no, then if lonely grows on him, I gotta fix my ends by my lonely. Depression interrupts and says, I don't got a friend. Anyways, welcome to my depression. It makes no exceptions. Emotion lashing out to your perception. Mine usually aggressive is just what's projected. A tendency to run out of one's life. I'm being tested. A habit of staying up and just question and question. Hold up, guys. I have to reassure something at this moment. So sorry, guys. We gotta work with the culture nowadays, and adapting to home is a little bit different. So I just had to reassure that the area is silent. Um, back. I'm gonna start it off again. Anyways, welcome to my depression. It makes no exceptions. Emotion lasting out to your perception. Mine usually aggressive. It's just what's projected. A tendency to runs out of one's life. I'm being tested. A habit of staying up and just question and question. And it's 3 a.m. It's 3 a.m. and I wake up with a knot in my stomach. All the lost promises, which concludes a reason why I'm here. I'm in the past and I don't really like to be here. So just someone hold me up, hold me right here. And I'd rather drown sleep in your arms than being drugged to sleep by tears. And by this time, I should have conquered some fears. The point is, my depression don't like to hear. So now it's 6 a.m. By then, quiet is my name to start off my day. Silence so I can whisper. Rich risings. Yesterday was just a tough day. Spirit says my name, blessed and highly favored. Yet my stomach rumbles. What's the same? You haven't digested yesterday, for you need to be level for today and get ready for tomorrow. My depression just doesn't believe. It is what I see, yet the eye only sees how far it wants to seek, as if it waits to eat up, but your stomach can't stomach. So I'm full on an empty stomach. Fucking strange of me. This plate is either full or empty. I'm so stressed to want any. Can you decide on what you want to eat, Remy? I have noticed lately I have an issue digesting, and it was probably last night, yeah, chewing at my worries. My depression likes to stall everyone as if I am not feeling the way that I'm feeling, and it's gotten a little boring. 9 a.m. Oh, I have to let it go. But I may be worried. Why am I unhappy? Oh, my insecurities. It's all in God's hand. I guess we should trust in purity. But every time I hold the wheel, I crash. I think it was the lack of faith. So I said some hurtful shit thinking it would never pass. Fuck. I feel like a burden. And that feeling has never passed. So what can I do as I patiently ask? However, my age doesn't require me at this moment to get anything back. Karma being a little disrespectful last. Too young to be trusted, they said. You won't understand what could be understood. Always pressed and under attack. My ego just try to keep me safe is the first thing I trusted when that shit fired back. Instead of sitting with self and making a plan. 3, 6, 9. I counted the number of times I wrote a poem of what I thought was wrong and needed. I even put it into poetic speeches, made it look good with a chest like mine. Shit told you to speak less. Yet I'm starting to sleep less, trying to figure out and overcome what comes in time. Yet I'm being called to just chill less. And I get ahead of the curve, and I could be wrong, but it feels right. My depression just loves to make a mess. Told you to fuck up and just do it again. Told me to do it again, remember? I don't like how this feels, not in my stomach, and I feel sorry, and I don't like how this feels not in my stomach again. And it feels of completely everything. And it makes no sense. For I overeat, but I haven't eaten in days. My appetite for this feeling has just gone cold in a way. For conversations are no longer conversations, and no one just rather speak to me in a way. So I crave to speak less in a way. And I no longer want to argue. I just want to get my point across without a lecture. But maybe my problem is a lecture ain't always a lecture in a way. What haven't I understood yet that they say I don't understand in a way? It will help. I'll be quiet if learning is what it takes. So, guys, I just wanted to thank you for allowing me to spit a very deep poem because these past few weeks, it's been kind of a little shaky and I wanted to like write something to put my emotions out. But enough about me. I'm ready to bring out the artists for tonight because I am excited. I am flattered. Let's see if Jose brings them out. Yes. Yeah, yes. Yes. We got Queen.
You?
Chill. Why you?
You.
You did it again. You played with my heart,
What's up?
man. Oh man. Oh, I love this, guys. Hi, guys.
Hello.
How are you guys?
Hi.
All right. So
Good,
here on Sip
good.
of Soul, I love for you guys to get just a little sincere on who you guys are and why you guys write. It cannot be the same answer as last time. We got to dig a little bit deeper since we got two people here that were here the last time. All right. So you guys are gonna represent your stage name, where you from, and why you write.
Okay, I'll go first. I go by the name Poetry Queen, and I'm from Queens. And I love to write because that's how I learned how to speak up.
Mm,
And you'll see in the piece that I do exactly what I mean by that. Poetry is the breath that I didn't know I had. It gave me the
yeah,
okay to speak up and not be afraid of it anymore.
I like that. I like that, Queen. All righty. Jess
I
B.
guess I'll go next. So I'm Jess. I'm from New York. I am a recently published author. Um, and why I write? I don't remember what I said last time, but I'm sure the effects of that. I like to really express myself in my writing. It's like a diary to me. But it also, I feel like, creates a space for me to really heal and learn from some of the things and move forward from some of the things that I've been through. So, yeah.
Alrighty. B. Give the crowd
What's up?
you.
What's up, y'all? B, Hannah from Brooklyn. For some reason here in Florida, but I want to say the reason I write is something that I'm learning now as I'm like finishing up a book is writing is it helps unpack a lot of trauma, a lot of emotion, and also just helps me put words together that I'm not really good with words, believe it or not, when I'm speaking them at least. Especially when emotions take over, I get all mumble jumbled, and half the time it comes out messed up. So it actually helps me put things into a way that I want to be perceived the way I want it to.
Yeah. Alrighty. All right, guys. I'm so excited, honestly, to hear you guys because, like, I love you guys. You guys know that it's always love. So, we're going to start off with B. We're going to start off the show with B. I don't know if you guys can hear me. I don't know. My screen just did something weird. All right. We're gonna start with you,
Got you,
King.
B. Give me. Sounds good. Hold
If
on, I'm
you're, are
pulling
you
it up
ready?
on my
Are you
computer.
ready?
I
Okay.
literally
Okay.
pulled in. Well, I'll pull it in. Give me 2.5. The what's it called? The StreamYard's loading on my Mac. But in the meantime, I got
All right. Let's.
something special for y'all. At least.
All right. What's up?
Why does
Talk
my
to me,
wife want to do this to me right now? Hold up. Give me. I got you. I got you. I got you.
guys. This is Mercury
Do do
retrograde.
do
I'm just.
do. It really is.
It really is.
It explains a lot of how I was feeling
It does,
today.
man.
I'm like, yeah, we gonna pull through though.
It's
Like,
also because I didn't expect this.
nah, I
You
love the
got it.
surprise though. Like, all right, Queen. We gonna start with you, and we'll get the ball rolling. So, let's see what you guys have tonight.
Okay. Ever since I was a little girl, no, that's not it. They can't hear me. They don't They're not sure. No, you're not sure. Try again. Look yourself in, no, because the mirror don't even want to look at you. I, reflection, talk back to me. Tell me that you love me. Tell me that you, no, that's not right either. Yeah, it's all right. Because the queen inside of me knows who I am and knows what I want to do with myself. And I've been grown to know and learn me. But society, of course, doesn't want me to know me. It's rather me dress in codes of them and not myself. And it tells me, don't be yourself. And it's funny, as a little girl, your parents always told you, be yourself, be comfortable in your own skin. But it's funny how I'm afraid of the dark and I don't know what's within. I'm trying and I'm struggling. I'm trying and I'm struggling. And this just isn't fun anymore. I'm the little girl that doesn't even want to learn how to walk anymore. Through life, I seem to have struggled. Through life, I seem to not know what love really is. What have I been doing all this time? So focused on loving you instead of loving me, but then I'm looking back at the mirror and that's not she. She's afraid to speak up. She's afraid to even grow up. She doesn't know what society is going to like her as, even if it's being proud to be who she is or just being proud to even exist. I never knew that it would be this hard to be the mist, but I saw how easy it was to be the mistress in a society that didn't even think about me being anybody's missus. I thought this was okay to do. I thought I was okay. I thought I was the beautiful little black girl who knew the way, who knew her way. I mean, I was trying to be Dorothy and follow the yellow brick road, but then the road didn't want me to follow it. It thought I was best if I just led along the lines of those who were okay with just being crossed out and not even seen. They thought it would be okay if I would just be a part of the mean girls. Yeah, I was the little girl who wasn't ashamed or being afraid of being her, being the girl that said, yeah, this is my hair and I'm not afraid to make you stare, even if I don't even like to look at myself. I had to keep telling myself this as a little girl, don't be afraid to rock the world that you want to live in. But then again, who am I to live in this world alone? But then I learned back then you shouldn't be afraid to be alone because that's exactly how you got here. You have to learn how to walk in your own shoes before you try telling someone else exactly what it means to do. To do what, they say? To live, to be alive, or just to exist in this world's own way? I'm telling you, reflection, look at me. You have grown into this beautiful woman. Don't even worry about making a brand new tree. To make the family, you have to start with me. You have to look yourself in the face and tell yourself this was the beautiful person you were created to be. You weren't given a crown just yet because you wanted to make sure you were laying your feet on solid ground. You wanted to make sure that everyone around you just didn't mistake you for an ignoring kind of sense of sound. You wanted to be loud, loud enough to hear yourself, loud enough to be so far in the back that even those in the backyard knew that you were not here to play. You were actually here because you had something real to say. So, what is that? What is it that I have so much to say of? I think I'm okay with being who I am, but I'm still afraid of love. I think I am. I'm not sure if I'm okay, if I'm ready for that. Am I really here or am I just existing with another fresh air that I haven't inhaled and I haven't exhaled and I just haven't let go of what I've been so afraid of? And then the inner child in me says no. Don't be afraid to let go. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't even be afraid to say, yes, I am she. I am worthy enough to be me. And in fact, as I've become that new she, I am okay with being called a queen. So from now on, when you look at you, tell yourself this is what you are meant to do. I am meant to look at me and she's meant to look at we. We are a unit and inside of each other, we are going to grow. So when they tell you this is not meant for you, you can actually look at them and tell them a proud, yes, I am. And I'll just tell you no. Thank you.
That was a
Man,
fire.
That was so beautiful. I loved
Girl,
that.
girl.
So beautiful.
I do have a
Thank
question
you.
though, because I really, really thought of the inner child as you were going into the piece. Where did you find like the biggest inspiration of really talking about that inner child? Because it takes strength to really talk about that, inner child that we all have.
Um, I I found, you asked me how did I find that piece or able to write it.
Like, like finding the
I took
inspiration.
it from my experiences as a child. I I didn't, as most of us, we always have those little bumps in the roads, and we try to figure
Hmm.
out ourselves. And like I said in my piece, we grow up in households, certain households that our parents tell us, don't be afraid to be yourself, go out there in the world and love who you are. But then, and at the same time, you also have to deal with being told, no, you want to be this way, you want to dress this way, there's a certain way that you should appear to the public, and the public is looking at you as if you're them. So really where I got that piece from was, I had trouble when I was a kid. I used to always get bullied and picked on, and I was in that deep moment of feeling like my purpose was not here. I grew up without one of my parents being around, and it was really, really hard for me to understand. Everybody else has their mom or their dad, and even if it's not in the household, there's some sort of acknowledgement of who they are. They at least know, okay, this person created me. But for some of us, it's not the same. And you have some kids who feel like the outsider, and they're like, I'm not sure if I should speak up, because suppose they don't get it. If you put yourself in a circle, I literally put myself mentally in a circle thinking, okay, everyone grew up with this parent, so it's typical to see them around this parent, this specific type of parent, or this specific type of family. But then I'm boarding myself as an outsider, like, oh, I don't have that, or I don't have this. And sometimes as a kid, I would really think, what is my purpose here? This other parent doesn't want me, so why am I created to just be here? But as older as I've gotten, and now having to look at children, like I have godchildren, I have stepkids, and I look at them and I say, okay, if I didn't want them to think the same way that I did, in order for you to encourage children, you have to put yourself back in their shoes. So that's what I did. When I started writing pieces like that, I was saying, okay, just to have a moment to flash back, where do these kids feel like they are now? Because back then, or even now, we don't really have kids that have somebody to go to that they can really trust. They think they can in the beginning of it, but then after a while, it's kind of like, can I really trust them? So that's why I
Yeah, but I
feel
feel
like
like it's
poetry in itself.
mhm. I feel like it's overall too, like in just the family, like they tell you to go out and be yourself, but it's also like this prejudice in the home, like even you being yourself, like and it's just like I thought you
Mm-mm.
said it was okay to be me, but I can't dress this way, I can't look this way without a comment being made. You know what I mean? So even that goes
Mm-hmm.
into effect
Yes.
too, you know?
Yes, I agree.
You guys
I
have any
definitely agree with
questions
that.
for Queen? Does Justin B have any questions for Miss Queen about her piece?
I just honestly really love the way that you had started it. Like you kind of didn't give any, you didn't really give much of an introduction, like you did in the beginning. But I was like, you were just like stuttering in the beginning, but it was purposeful, and I loved it because I feel like it made it raw and it made it so much more real. It's like you were talking to yourself, and it's like, damn, like I've had these conversations with myself too. Like, wait, no, hold on, and it's like I loved it. I thought it was very beautiful. I thought it was very moving, inspirational. I loved it. It was great.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
How long did it take for you to put it all together? Because it really did, like, it flowed so seamlessly as if you like wrote it through in one.
It actually, I played with it all day. I played with it in my head all day, and I have the habit of keeping it in my head until I'm ready to spit it. And then I'll write it out here and there, but most of it was just, okay, you know that you want to stick to this specific subject, and you know that you want to write it out this way or spit it this way. So that's literally how I played it in. I haven't physically written anything down, but I'll record it to myself and play it back, and then I'll go from there. Like it's actually a conversation with myself. Like the young lady said, it's like you're talking to yourself. So that's actually what it is. how I pulled it together.
Wait, so you didn't like write it down at all? You were talking to yourself and recorded it? Is that what you just said?
Sort of, yeah, a little bit here. Like I wrote a few things
Wow.
down, but most of it I did
At
like as a
least,
recorded piece and played
at
with it.
That's
least
amazing. That's amazing.
That's
that
really
takes
how
some
I have to write my
serious
pieces.
memorizing skills.
It's actually that's why when I write my pieces, they really come from the aftermath. Like I'll keep all of it in it. Like me performing this was completely fresh, and then
Wow.
I'll write where I left off, and then I'll leave it from there. But 9 times out of 10, any pieces that I've performed, you could say freestyle. I know what I'm gonna spit about. I know the subject at hand, and I'll play with it mentally in my head. I could have line after line after line, but I don't spit it at all until I'm absolutely ready. Because if I do, then it won't come out as fresh as I want it to.
That's a T right there for Queen. So I just noticed somebody else popping into Sofa Soul. So I do want to give a quick chance for Melissa to introduce herself, represent where you're from, and why do you write poetry? Because we want to know why.
Hi, so I was invited to this. My name is Melissa. I do a little bit of acting. I'm in the modeling field. I'm a radio personality. I'm a communication major. Got my undergrad in healthcare management. I'm about to get my master's in psychology.
Okay, moving, you moving.
I, I'm definitely moving. The reason why I write poetry and the reason why I get into it is because I learned to suppress my emotions throughout my childhood and all this stuff. With that being said, like poetry is a way for me to connect. Like I don't cry, I don't do none of that. I'm usually like plateau. But when I write is when I can tap into my emotions, is when I can really express myself to those levels. So that's how I got into it. It's like, doing like self healing and stuff like that. And the arts, that's why I got into like the model and the entertainment, because it's like those arts allow me to express myself freely without all the judgments and all the other stuff that comes with it.
Man, you lucky because I'm a crier. So like I wish I had that superpower of you, like not crying. Because for once, I would love to get through a conversation without crying. And right now, I'm crying.
That's
All
another
right,
thing I
love.
want to get. That's what I'm working on, just being able to express myself emotionally, and poetry allows me to tap into those emotions that I keep like guarded.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Alrighty, so we're going to get to B tonight. Then right after that,
All right.
Melissa, you're gonna get a shot. All right, and then we
Okay,
have Jess for the feature tonight. I'm
that's
excited.
fine.
Nice. All right. Well, sorry y'all about I was switching from my phone to my laptop, and then after this, I'm gonna just forewarn you, I'm switching back to my phone. I'm forever on the move, kind of unexpected, but I got something special for y'all specifically because I only told a couple people that I was just gonna impromptu do this. So as I told you earlier, I'm working on a book, and even though I still ain't hear feedback from a certain person about this, it's fine because now it's done. You get to hear it now. Somebody in this in these 5 boxes don't answer text, but we'll get to that another time. But nah, so this is from the
That's
book.
not me, right?
As
That's not me because you're already checked.
I live
Y'all
on
guys are
camera.
suck at texting, man. All right, baby. You're
Nah,
right.
you know I love you. But yeah, so I actually told myself that I wasn't gonna perform this, but since not a lot of people are really that much tuned in, so I'm like, fuck it. Like I'm gonna do it. It's a treat for y'all. It's something new off of my book. Some as I said, poetry is a way for me to unpack a lot. So this was me unpacking. I'm gonna just get into it. Y'all can ask whatever afterwards. The poem is called
Okay.
12 Years a Slave.
Okay.
12 years a slave, 12 years a victim. 12 years convincing myself that I miss you. 12 years convincing myself that I loved you. 12 years convincing myself it's something it isn't. 12 years of me trying to reclaim my innocence. I miss it. 12 years of trying to kill a moment, a trauma, a nightmare I lived in. 12 years or so since that day in late summer, August or September, I could barely remember. See, a lot of that day I tucked away deep into the back of my mind, kept locked in corridors I couldn't even find, though some of the smallest details slipped right through the cracks, like we had Burger King to start and you finishing on my back. My boyfriend for only 3 weeks. After one date, took a leap and let you be the man that I hope would bring me back to my peak. Despite the first day we met, you showed me your cheeks, meaning you showed your ass and showed me upfront you were a creep. Cursed me out, and in the same night, you were texting sweet nothings to me. But I was heartbroken from last dude who put me out on the street and left me defeated, yearning for some kind of love I could believe in, starving for it, ate up every word you would feed me, let you lead me. Your strength was my weakness, used them to lock me up and tie me down, all the while I swore that you had freed me from the pain I just had felt, thought I would never hurt again. But that pain was child's play, and I was a child then. Bliss is truly found in ignorance. You knew I was no stranger to sex, but I had my limits. You had yours and you were adamant on sticking with it. Should have known better and walked away when you said couldn't stay if we weren't intimate. Pressure on me to take your needs and fulfill it. Wish I knew a life with that love or lack thereof truly ain't worth living. Many days after that one, I truly didn't want to. Same way I didn't want to have sex with you, but there was no way I could have stopped you. Opened up Pandora's box when I let you get on top and dominate me, claim me, and eventually I still choke on the word, same way I choked back tears. Took me years to even give it that label, to overcome the fear of admitting the happily never after of that fable. The tragic moment that devoured what was supposed to be magic, my fragile body frozen in panic. Pain and regret that felt everlasting, retreating and retracting all my pleas for you to stop, because you must have misunderstood and mistook my moans of agony for moans of ecstasy. Your body on me weighed as much as my misery. As you said to me, you already started and it was just too good. Those words haunted me because I never wanted it, but I asked for it, but I welcomed it. Must be my fault. How could I allow you and then say that shit? Stop and no, you couldn't distinguish it. The mixed signals you were getting, because I let you start, I had to let you finish it. That must be how it goes, huh? These thoughts made it hard for me to call it what it was. I couldn't hang up all the stigmas behind the word. What occurred doesn't happen to men. Sex is always consensual if that's your boyfriend. What you start, you need to see through to the end. Don't pretend it's not what you were offering and then get apprehensive. Childhood mentality. No gives these backseats. You already consented. Now, aside from being in a state of denial, I was in a state of survival, at war with myself, convinced there wasn't anybody else. If I told you I actually wanted to have sex every other time after, you would be lied to. But I wasn't going to lose you, and I wasn't going to fight you, and I wasn't going to have my no taken away another time too. I made my deal, danced with the devil, made my bed and lied in it too. When you climbed up top, not one more time did I say stop. So I was under the impression the perversion was only progressing because I wanted it to. What was supposed to be an act of love was so full of hate and so daunting to me too, exhausting to me too. Drained of actual joy, yet acting so coy, all the while mourning the loss of me too. I lost a part of me that was unsullied and hopeful. The disposal, a catalyst to some kind of interruption in my brain and my thought process. You were never strong enough to break me. You just caused me to malfunction. Deep under the presumption, seduction was the only way anyone could love me. And the assumption that if they wanted to touch me, I had to follow the simple instruction of saying yes or staying shut. Governance over my own body had been corrupted. This dysfunction met me at every junction, every interaction where I acted like I was willfully enjoying moments of passion, though my list of bodies slowly but surely became my list of regrets. Still not one of them fucked me like you did yet. The way you distorted my mindset, only warmth I could give was from behind, and where my assets felt inept when it came to actual affection. Gentle kisses and tight embraces made me sweat and my heart race. Felt out of place and disconnected. Rejected romance, but welcomed sexual advances. Let them get in my pants when it was never my intention. Even when I felt no connection, being called a slut more times than I can count for every one of those transgressions. But if you actually dissect it, every meaningless fuck was for my own protection, because I would rather be called a slut than once again a victim. Subconsciously, the atrocity of this odyssey halted me from being free from the shackles that you locked on me. Psychologically speaking, it's just another incident of Stockholm Syndrome. All sense and rationale was not home since you planted yourself deep in my mind like Inception. The deception I faced for 12 years, looking back at your face and my perception of you being close to perfection. Despite coming to my senses, when it came to your name, I had this predilection. The mention of your name or the image of your face put me in this dimension where your actions were never unacceptable, reprehensible. You were ethical, respectable. Our fairy tale ending was only inaccessible because my character was unconventional. Not entirely sure what made it click, but I'm no longer tricked by facades and fables, and I told myself to stay sane, no longer under the illusion you were my ray of sunshine, but 12 years of heavy rain, and the chains on my mental that I just couldn't break. Today, I'm able to say that I know I never loved you and I never actually missed you. The vulnerability I once could not confront allowed me to rid you, clear my conscience, close the chapter on my captivity. Find closure through creativity, knowing damn well not one word of this you may ever see or ever read, nor ever understand. No love lost, no hate found, strictly indifference and a different mind frame. The pain bears no significance. I've reclaimed my innocence. Inevitably, the time came where I'm able to sit comfortably with reality, sleep peacefully, find harmony with myself, love wholly and freely, and break free of these chains. Spent 12 years bound by doubt, deprecation, and delusion. I refuse to spend another day.
Shit, yo. I'm so sorry, I'm cursing, Jose, but like,
That
can we
was
just take
amazing.
a moment?
That was
Like,
good.
can we just take a moment and like breathe that in because that was just such an intense piece, and I feel like gray areas in relationships is something that is not spoken about a lot. I mean, it's what I got from the poem. I know that it's a little bit more deeper than that. Um, but I've been in those situations. I don't know if any of you guys can relate, but it's a very relatable piece. That's probably my favorite. Like made me run from it, bro. No, no, no funny shit. That was intense. That was a lot to grasp, like a whole lot.
Yeah, it was a lot to write, honestly. I think it's the longest I ever worked on a poem because it was a lot to unpack in general. Like I knew this was something that I finally wanted to address, that I finally felt comfortable with addressing and handling within myself. And I wanted to definitely make this part of the book, but it was a lot. It took me a little over 2 weeks. I had the first week I started writing it, I had to take a mental health day from work. Like I woke up because I started the night before and I'm like, yo, I feel like shit today. Like I just couldn't do it. And then I put it down for a few days. And then it's like, yo, my self-conscious forces me to write. Like I woke up one day, like the day that I finished it, like angry as fuck, like for no reason. I'm like, yo, why do I feel this way? I could not pinpoint it. Nothing helped. I literally had vodka for lunch and was still pissed off. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? So then
Funny
eventually I was
purging
just
of
like, yo,
emotions.
I was like, yo, let me just write. So I picked up the piece, I read through it again. I'm like, bam, it started coming out. I finished it. And then it was just like, a weight lifted.
Wow, guys, the floor is for you guys too, because this is a beautiful piece. It's very
It
strong.
was
Yeah,
very
it was
heavy.
definitely deep. It was definitely deep. You showed your courageous side to tell your story. And it was amazing. Like I can't even give a higher like expression. Like it really, really it hit home for people that are not where you are in the courage that it took. Like it was really, really deep. It actually will make you the way I heard it, it was like sit down and listen to my story. I'm ready to speak up and I'm ready to talk about it. And that was real serious. It was really, really good.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
I thought it was very heavy. It was beautiful. I just feel like that weight was on my shoulders too, and I needed to breathe just with you. I was like, oh my god. I'm like, he needs to take a breath. Like, please, like just stop. Like it's so heavy. I can't take it anymore. But it was so. There was a lot of bars in that piece. First of all, like the ending, you was just going off like with the rhymes, and it was like, what was it in inaccessible or something like that? It was like that rhyme scheme with the fairy tales and
Yeah.
all of that, beautiful. But I think one of my favorites was I'd rather be called a slut than called a victim, and it was just amazing. Like, and you know, it was really crazy too. I don't know if it happened
Yes.
for anybody else, but
I was snap clapping, snap clapping, snap
when
clapping, snap clapping.
Oh,
when you
unmuted.
when you had said when you had like when you were talking about it, and like I feel like it kind of began talking about the what you were talking about, you ended up freezing a little bit, and it I think worked out perfectly with your like it took me a while to admit it, and I was like, wait, I'm like, did he like freeze the
Went
internet
purple.
into this piece?
Oh
It
yeah,
was
that was planned.
it was
Nah,
dope.
that was
That was a
planned.
good plan. That was a good plan because it went right
So
with it.
essentially,
Yes.
if you go with the rhyme scheme of that actual like that verse, it rhymes with the word. So and
Yeah,
when I first wrote the poem, I was gonna include it, but something told me, you know
yeah.
what, don't, because it's a given. Like let
No, of
that be
course.
rather than heard.
No, of course. And you know what, Brad? I know that I mailed you a copy of my book, and I don't want to make this about me, but read Blackout if you haven't, because that I think would
Black.
complement what you kind of just said and really relate to you as well too. It was a beautiful piece. Thank you for sharing that. I loved it.
Thank
I need
you.
to hear that again. I need to hear that again. It was beautiful.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Melissa, do you like
I
would you
didn't
like
know.
to
Can I
see?
get my feedback? I wasn't certain, like, whether I
Yeah, I'm
could.
like, yeah, for sure you gonna get feedback, girl. Like you was the poem, girl. Like you know.
Um. Oh my God! Like that was amazing. Like how you memorize all that too. I'm like, whoa. But in regards to the delusions, the lies, the mishaps, the even people don't talk about this in relationships. Like you brought it up in regards to like the sexual encounters, like not knowing you can say no, or if you don't say no, and not knowing that you're being taken advantage of, and it's like that plays a part into everything. That we like the unspoken, and a lot of people sometimes when you say no, they're like, oh no, you're playing hard to get. It's like, no, I mean no, but all
Right.
those things that come into play, those intricate details that would get so messy in relationships, right? That no one discusses, right? Because it's like, oh, if I am having sex with you or having intimacy with you, under the pretense that we're getting back together and you're going to do better, but yet you don't do better, it's kind of like as if you took advantage, you exploited it, because and then when you're working things out, it's for the better, not for the worse. And
Yeah, most definitely.
when you touch all of those, and you said 12 years, that's a long time to be in
Yeah,
this.
so the reason it's called 12 Years a Slave, if it's not obvious, it's because it happened 12. I'm 29 now. It happened when I was 17. So and
Okay.
it was like, again, it took it really a lot to. It didn't. It took me probably 2 or 3 years for me to even, like I said, call it what it was. Like I didn't even think of it that way until I was talking like one of my best friends from high school, because that was kind of like shortly after I graduated, and we were just talking about the shit show of that relationship and whatever. And she's like, you know what that sounds like to me? And I'm just like, shit, I never really kind of thought of it in that way.
Okay, so that relationship,
Yeah.
even to like still be scorned by it, even to look at it from like a different lens now, but yet that happened at 17, you're 29, but you still feel all those emotions, and you can see it in your face during your presentation, like it still resonated with you.
Very much.
Because I feel like in a way, shape, or form, of course, like it's a part of us, like whether we
Mhm.
don't want it to, like it may not be a part of us, but it shaped us in a little bit, and it makes us a certain way, and sometimes I feel like with that poem too, like you said, that release of the weight on the shoulders, like heavy on that, because like I felt the release, that you have. It was just like a big breath that you took right after, and it was just like, now we can actually sleep tonight. And I feel like all of us probably gonna sleep like babies tonight. But
Right.
especially you. Um, B, honestly, like I love that piece. I kind of like feel bad now for not responding to that message, but I really, really, that was
No, we'll
amazing.
fight
That was
later. It's fine.
powerful.
That was
It was amazing and that was powerful. So I just want to thank you once again, Melissa.
Or
You
I can't even
girl, you
talk
are
now.
you are an ex,
So, no,
sis.
I'm just joking. I'm gonna go. After
All right.
that, I'm like, no, it's okay. They definitely thank you for the peace. Definitely. All right. Um, this is called Mary Man. Took me by surprise. The devil looking right back at me. Filled me with nothing but lies. I thought he was perfect. He spent so much time together. We traveled together. Man, he really misled me into a lie. I never seen it coming. He even asked me to be his girlfriend on the mountains of Puerto Rico. I thought I was in heaven. Only to turn around and tell me that he was married with a baby on the way. I never got the chance to respond. All I could think is when, how, the unanswered questions that filled my head. I suppressed all my emotions, never showing him a sign of that I care, but I felt it all at once. He lied, and I believed it. I believed he loved me. I believed he cared for me. I believed he wanted me. But it took him 4 months to tell me he was married. It all changed for me. Wishing I can rewind back to that moment when I accepted the offer. You took my decision away from me. And you spoon fed me for months that you were available. I'm guilty for falling for the lie. I'm even guilty of knowing about the marriage afterwards and continuing the relationship. You already had your 1 year anniversary, and I wasted my year thinking I was the one. Yeah, the one you can play with, the one you can toy with, and so on. You had my emotions erratic, sometimes in overdrive, then reverse, but never in part. The attention you provided to my abuse, abandonment, and neglectful little girl. Craved it. It was my drug of choice, a dangerous one that I was not in control. And you belong to another woman. I'm just another woman scorned. Thank you guys for listening.
That was the tea, sis. Okay.
Right.
All right, we got B back. All right.
Yo.
That's honestly that was a very very good
Yeah,
poem.
I'm still here.
That had a different twist though to it. I actually never really thought about talking about marriage addictions, like being with married men and stuff. That was kind of like different. It's a different experience,
Mm-hmm.
of course. So if you would like to talk about that experience, or the initial inspo for that poem.
So I met this guy under the impression that he was a bachelor. Fast forward 5 months later, he even asked me to be his girlfriend, and we spent time together, holidays, everything together. Fast forward 5 months later, it comes out, oh no, I'm married with a baby on the way. And I'm like, what? Um, with that being said, it was caught me by surprise. And I'm like, when, where, how? Um, like you never even gave me the option to decide. You already made a decision for me. And I'm already in it. And I already fell for it. So that poem was like definitely like a deep piece. And I can never really articulate to him all of the emotions, but his behavior changed, and it was like as if he's like, oh, you're still my girl. But I'm like, how am I your girl when you got a wife? I'm like so confused by the whole dynamic of this situation that I was in. And it's just basically, inspiring me to vote right, because he was a person that like you can never really truly express yourself with him. Like he expressed his emotions and it was time for your turn. It's like, okay.
And I feel like with most people too, like it's just, sometimes the people that you really want to express those emotions to, you really can't express it to them anyways. So you're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna just go to the pen and the paper and I'm just gonna write about it and stuff. That was very strong to deal with and stuff because, I don't know if anybody could deal with falling in love with a person that never wanted to be in love with. And if you did, shout out to you, man, because you still living and you still watching this. You heard, mommy? You still here? All right, guys. Do you guys have anything to say about the fees, guys? This is a collective thing.
Yeah. I just want to say, men ain't shit. Honestly, because
I was thinking that, but I
I
didn't want to be the one
disagree, though. I disagree,
to
but
I have a lot of I have a lot of homegirls that go through such similar situation. I'm just like, yo, why do you gotta do it? Like, first of all, I'm married, and happy. Why are you having a whole other relationship? And it's just like, why carry on that lie? That's just not exhausting. Like, and then to like you said, like they didn't give you a choice. So to put on you that's trash.
No.
Who's to you subvert, not stabbing him? Because that's my route. That's my initial route every time.
Thank you.
y'all got anything I wanna? Are you good? You good? You're good.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm taking it all in. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
But
no,
that piece was really, really, really deep. Yeah, I know someone who's been in that experience, and I've actually been in that experience of thinking I was the only one, number one, don't have nothing to worry about. But no, I was
Yeah.
a part of the having the cake and eating it too, and I happened to be the two. So I've definitely been in that predicament. And like she said, it's like you're already in it. So it's like, okay, do I get myself comfortable, or do I say, okay, here's where I press the out button and the little red button. Let me press that button and I'm gonna get out of this
Abort.
one. Yes.
Abort.
Yes. Yes, yes, and yes. I was actually in a I was in a 10-year relationship with a woman where we started to be us, and then it was like, okay, we're having fun, so now you're not the only one and you're just going to be option 2 through 10. And it's like you're fighting so much with not really the person but yourself in the predicament. So you
Yeah.
don't really know. Okay, it's like, okay, I've got my cake and eat it too, and I'm getting treated like I'm the cherry on top. And then it's like, yeah, I'm gonna just hold on to the cherry jar and wait till I want some more because it's not really what I want. And then after a while, for me, it was like you get tired of it. You're like, okay, so this is not gonna become a just you and I. This is gonna be going in circles. So either I'm going to leave or I'm going to be okay with being comfortable with the situation.
Yep.
That's exactly where I found myself. So I that's why I was speechless. Like, oh shit, I'm being put on Front Street. Wait a minute, hold on, don't tell my business in that kind of code. I could take other things, but there's no need. Okay, I'm gonna just be quiet and learn my lesson, take my notes, and hush my mouth. So that's why I was a little speechless. But so yes, honey, you did it great, beautiful.
Thank you.
I
Alrighty.
feel like dealing with that type of situation definitely too. I think that it questions kind of like your self worth, like with wondering where you are in, I guess, like, I don't want to say rotation, but I mean, if you're dealing with a man who's, or, a partner who is seeing multiple other people, it's like, okay, I'm number one on like Monday through Wednesday. I'm down number seven, like on the
Oh yeah,
weekend.
I'm not comfortable with that.
It's hard, and you begin to question your self-worth too, and to really, put yourself, stick through a situation like that, because like like Melissa said, once you're in it, it's like, all right, shit, like I'm kind of in it. Like once you have feelings for somebody, this shit's hard to stop regardless of whatever
Mhm.
it is. So, and then at that point it's just like a lot of stuff that's going through your mind. It's heavy. I missed a little bit of the beginning, but I like, as you were celebrating your first anniversary, I was wondering if I was the one for you or something like that. I like that part. That was nice.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. Definitely a tough situation to be in. Like in regards to like, my emotions and how I feel, it was like, you know how like you think you got that hope of love. I guess for me it was like that hope. It was that hope of love, and then I'm like, well, how the fuck did you pull this off? Because we're spending time. We're kind of like, it's like, how do you pull this off for 5 months? Like, how do you manage? And it was just
Well,
like asking to be your girlfriend, knowing you got a wife. It's like a whole situation.
This is why you gotta stalk them in the beginning. Like you information.
do a background check.
I know some people that
Ladies, don't be scared. Don't be scared to do a background check on 'em.
like shit.
Get your little checklist. Yes.
Now,
Yo,
guys,
study.
when all hope is lost, there's still hope. But guys, I really, really want to get back into the Star of the Night.
Mm-hmm.
Star of the Night. Like, like I could be Miley Cyrus, but you could definitely be Hannah Montana. Yes. Hey, hold up. So, guys, without further ado, I really, really am excited to introduce the feature for the night, Jess Payess. Okay. Okay, honey. I'm gonna get comfortable for you.
Okay. Well, hi, I'm Jessica. And I'm gonna just read this piece and then I'm gonna get into it afterwards. It's called 3:28 a.m. The truth about depression is it's unpredictable, unwarranted, unpleasant, unapologetic. It's made me do and say terrible things to myself without ever asking for forgiveness because depression makes you feel unworthy, unwanted, unloved. It's made me believe that I would be better if I just give up. And by give up, I mean suicide. Let's just cut the bullshit because you can ask these pre-screening questions and I promise I am the full list. Do you ever have trouble sleeping? Loss of interest in your activities? Do you struggle getting out of bed just to avoid daily responsibilities? Do you find yourself feeling empty and that your life is losing purpose? It's funny they ask these questions when depression has its own version. So let me tell you how it hits me. Head high, walking down the street, and it comes out and kicks me, emotions bleeding out, but there's no one here to fix me, laying helpless on the concrete, thinking, God, why did they pick me? Who's here? There's no soul here. I'm in the deepest cave of my own body, and I am alone here. Everything is black and white. And it doesn't help when people keep on trying to send you light because the truth about depression, it knows with who to pick its fights. I've been beaten up repeatedly. And we all know snitches get stitches, so I've dealt with it in secrecy. Learn to let it just eat at me. Learn to let it take its course and hope it leaves peacefully, only it never does. And sometimes I think I'm better off just going nuts because the truth about depression is it fucking sucks. And that's that piece. I wrote that piece about a year ago, so it's like super emotional for me right now. I've been like emotional all fucking day, just because on Valentine's Day last year, I guess was like in a very bad place, and I guess when we say bad place, like yeah, okay, cool, I attempted suicide, whatever. And that was one of the poems that I wrote right after, and it's the last poem that I performed before the pandemic happened, and then I went off of social media, and it's just been, I feel like just because like the anniversary is coming up, it's very heavy for me. But it's very fucking crazy, and this is how God is like so real. I had a client whose anniversary of her attempted suicide was today. And talking to her felt like I was talking to me. It's like, oh my God. Like it's been emotional as fuck all day today. Like super emotional. But yeah, that's that piece.
Thank you for still being here, by the way.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Um, and that's one of the pieces in my book, Manipulated by Love, Sex, and Depression. The number to the suicide hotline is on the back. It says you are stronger than your pain. It's available on my website, strongerthanyourpain.com, and that's Than, THAN, for people who can't spell. So next poem that I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read another one from my book. This one is called Closure. All right. I called you last night, and I wish I had a better reason. But it's time I stop running and time I start feeling I'm confused. It's been days, months, and years since I felt pain from you, since I felt pain at all. See, because it was right after you that I needed alcohol, and I don't blame you for my addiction. But ever since you left, nothing's ever been more different. And by different, I mean shattered. The pain you rooted in me caused nothing else to matter when you told me it was over. It was the last day I was sober. It was the last day I was faithful. And I've never gotten closure because you chose her. After you told me you wouldn't. So I carry my bags and unload them even when I know that I shouldn't. But you did that. The trust issues I have, you built that. And it only took you 8 weeks. It's been 4 years now. And I still haven't made peace because looking back at it, when I was with you, I wasn't drinking. My mind was made up and my heart did all the thinking and it played me. Alcohol isn't ruining my life. It is trying to save me from the pain you inflicted. I thought I knew who you were. I thought you were different. I trusted you. And to me, that means more than saying I love you, because the doors I spent closing for my heart's preservation, I opened them to you without hesitation. And I didn't mean to trust you. It happened so suddenly, and I didn't mean to love you. It happened so subtly. You made me feel every emotion. And maybe that's why now I feel so very broken. I felt envy. I felt rage. I felt happy and afraid. I felt sad the day you left me all alone. I felt betrayed, and now I feel nothing unless I pour these shots down. I felt nothing the day you stopped coming around. I feel nothing because you hurt me so bad, and I refuse to feel again. If it's anything like that, do you know you were the last person I was good to? What did I do to deserve this? How could you? You lied. When I demanded your honesty, you made me feel like there was something wrong with me. You had me so conditioned. So now I ignore my intuition and I say you're all the same because I can't tell no more who's different because you were supposed to be. You made me feel loved. Your arms were home to me, and now I'm homeless. I search for love in the streets, but I see now it's hopeless because I will never again allow myself that uncertainty of someone saying they love me, then just end up hurting me. And that's that piece.
That was a big wow.
Yeah.
I feel like overall today has been an intense day, girl. And that final piece too was intense as well.
It's been a very intense day. Very, 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 very heavy. Very heavy all day today.
Do you feel a little bit of the pressure relieved now that you got something off your chest,
um, I'm sorry.
I said, do you feel, a little bit more of like the pressure being relieved?
In some ways, yeah. Um, some ways, yeah. I
I
just
feel like
laugh.
we gotta, yeah, it's okay. I feel like we gotta find like little inspirations and the little things, to keep us up every single day, you know. But I
No,
really, really
definitely.
do appreciate that piece a whole lot because like I feel like I resonate to most pieces, but this one I kind of resonated with this piece more than I did the other one. A whole lot.
Yeah. And you know what? I find that is crazy too because this piece, it was like so weird, but I feel like this is something that I'm always gonna remember. I read this piece, I think like right before the pandemic hit, like 2019 December. And this girl, I read the first fucking line. I think I just read the poem, Closure. She was in tears, tears. And I just the first line of the poem, which is I called you last night, and that was it. She was just bawling. And then come to find out she had just gone through a breakup like 2 days.
Wow.
And I was just like, wow, girl. I'm like, oh my God, I know how that feels. You're going to get through it. I promise. Like, just, it's going to be all right. But that first part of the breakup definitely always hurts.
Hmm. Intensely. A lot. It's like it's a numbing feeling. It's not a feeling that you can get back. You know what I mean?
No. And you know what? It's crazy is that poem took me forever to write. Like years later, just because I never thought that, like, it was just so weird because like we were so close. It was a family friend.
Hmm.
Um, and it was just like a really hard situation to kind of bounce back from, and things haven't even been the same, you know what I'm saying? And just to kind of write from that experience, it was just like
Hmm.
real life. Like, I dead ass did try to call, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
like, what the calling for? So, I it was a lot. It was a lot.
Well, I'm so amazed by your bravery today. Coming on definitely when you don't feel well. I've done that multiple times on like a Souletri stage where like I'm not feeling very like at all, like feeling it. And I get on and I'm like, I at least still keeps me going.
Yeah, I feel you.
You
And do I still have more time, or can I, or is it no?
I've honestly, if you would like, you're the feature of the night. If you want to give it one more try, you should get at it.
I kind of wanted to wanted to do two, but if I only have time for one, then that's fine. I'll do one. to live too.
Jose, is that a go? I'm sorry, guys. I'm a Virgo. I need permission. Honestly, for the sake of time, I think you should go. I think you should definitely go.
Okay, I'm gonna
Yes,
do.
yes.
All right, I'm gonna do the one that I did last time, and then I'm gonna do another one after that because they're two and two together because they're about the same person, and I need to get this out today. I need to I need to
Anything
re-release.
on the Sofa Soul platform for you. Yes.
Okay, so this poem is called Eternal Impressions, and this is one that I had read last time. The world aligned for us to meet. And I don't say those words aloud fictitiously. You were the change I saw in all my dreams, and our chemistry sparked almost instantly. You shared your struggles. I shared my past. We both agreed we'd never last. I am a temporary person. You spoke those words, and I just laughed. See, I focused so hard on what our future had stored, damaged by love, but still yearning for more. I always knew I wanted to love you. But right now, I'm not so sure. I said I wanted consistency. You felt for me just as hard and decided on commitment, but I knew your love would wander because I swore I felt the distance. Things were great until you cheated with your alcohol addiction. I just wish there was a way to fix the voids that you keep feeling. I pray for you almost daily for your sobriety, but mostly your safety. I've never experienced a love this intense. And I swear, when I swiped right, this was never my intent, but you restored my faith in God after life altering events. And I don't know how else to repay you, but by coming to your defense only. You bring out the worst in me. Have me quick to catch a charge for murder in the first degree, ready to set fire to every building without the thought I'd end up burning me just to look up at the jury with every bit of certainty like, yep, I did it. The relationship we've established has become way too complex, always in distress because we're way too obsessed and we try to stay away but keep coming for the sex because we have threesomes. That must make it hard for you to quit. I'm on top, riding you crazy with the taste of liquor on your lips and the scent of nicotine. Underneath your fingertips is all I fucking smell when you lean in for a kiss. Your addiction is causing too high of a demand. Look, I know I said ride or die, but this was not part of the plan. I can't keep grabbing or dragging you by the hand because I'm too young to have a child, but you're too young to be a man. So where do we stand? Are you prepared to lose a love over your addiction to the drugs? Because I mean it when I say that this time I've had enough of the back and forth, drunk, heartfelt messages. Because when you're sober, it's fuck you and death sentences. I hate you, I'm ending this, and then you're drunk, want to kiss and make up without ever mentioning it like it never happened. And sometimes I think you're just someone I imagine because there's no way on earth I could ever love an addict, but here I am, helping you fight off your demons, and here you are, helping me write these masterpieces, helping me finally find a reason to put away pills and all sharp objects because you showed me my life's meaning. You are my biggest life lesson, my fatal obsession. We are temporary lovers with eternal impressions. The world aligned for us to meet. And I'm going to say it once more in case I spoke it too fast. The world aligned for us to meet, but was never designed for us to last. And that's that piece. Ooh, what do we do?
I love it. You giving us another one?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you one last more. This one's a little bit shorter. This one is called King. Hold on one second. I need a drink. All right, this one's called King. I don't have this one memorized, so it might suck. King. I hope you know it's okay to heal. I hope you know it's okay to feel. I hope you learn what it means to love yourself before you speak those words to someone else. I hope you learn accountability for your actions and words and understand that people are not pawns in the games that you play. I hope you learn to communicate better. Allow others into your mind to help release the demons you keep inside. It's the only way you'll ever truly find peace. I hope you find sobriety. As you struggle to find a way home with $9 to your name after blowing it all on strippers, I hope your son never has to grow up without a father figure. I hope you mature into the man you practically cried in my arms about. I hope you learn the meaning of unconditional love when you look back and realize how much I put myself through fighting for you on days when you weren't strong enough to. I'm sorry, hold on. I hope you meet someone like you, because you inspired such a change in my life, and everyone deserves to encounter a person that makes them question how they lived all this life without them. I hope you find a way out of the struggle. Use the tools around you to your advantage. Stop the excuses, sabotage, and damage. I hope you learn healthy ways to manage your pain. I hope one day you learn to pour alcohol down the drain. I hope you hear this poem and know that people care about you if you let them. I hope you don't blame yourself. I hope you don't drink yourself to death. I hope you don't think yourself to death. I hope you stay alive long enough to be happy with the man staring back at you in the mirror. I hope one day you open your eyes to see the world a little bit more clearer. I hope you achieve your goals and that you stay on track. But most of all, I hope you learn forgiveness. Because once you become the man I know you are destined to be, you must forgive yourself for all that you've allowed in the past. I hope you know that someone loves you. And I hope you know that someone is me. And that's that piece. I fucked it up a little bit because I don't know it.
That's beautiful. Yeah, just call me in my zone, like I'm focused on that.
You're breaking up what?
No, like my face was just focused on like the poetry piece, and it just opened out. But honestly, I love that piece. If you guys want to give any comments on Jess's poetry piece.
I loved it because it was a conversation. It was not, it wasn't you just being poetic. It was a real conversation. Like you were sitting down and actually telling us, like, this is my life. This is
No.
what I'm dealing with. This is not something I just choose to write because it's fun and it's exciting. This is something, my story. Like I say about a lot of us that really write from the heart and mind, that it's not just about writing. It's about having that freedom, having that free space mentally and emotionally to tell your story. And I was glued by your first piece, and I was like, she's making it okay for some of us to speak up. I said it over and over again because that's the really important part of your pieces.
Yeah.
And I think that it's really, really cool. And at the same time, it's more like shocking because it's like when it's the outsider looking in, you're like, it's okay to say that. It's actually okay to have that subject. I mean, everyone finds it okay and sort of cute to talk about love, to talk about relationships. It's okay. But when it's something a lot personal with yourself, that's when it kind of hits deeper.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds crazy, but it's like we can find that space to talk about our relationships with whoever, whether it's a family member or just a partner. But when it comes down to us actually having that conversation, like you said in the beginning for the piece that I did, like you're talking to yourself, you're actually at freedom with yourself, and you're like, okay, can anybody really hear me?
Yeah.
Is anybody really listening? I'm trying to listen to myself, but in the meantime, does somebody else hear me? Because I don't know if that's okay. So that's yeah, your piece was awesome. I would like to buy your book.
Yes, strongerthanmypain.com. Thank you so much. So I've gotten that feedback a lot, that it's like conversational and like storytelling too. And I love that because honestly, like my poetry, I I'm just letting it all the fuck out. Like I cry during my pieces and I have to put them away. Like I don't write like normal people. It takes me weeks, months, years to finish a piece just because I completely break down and I can't do it anymore. And I shut myself out. And it's just, I feel like, you know, especially that piece Closure, I wrote it with every intention to share it with the person it was about. And once I finished it, I said, no, this is for me. I said, and it was just so refreshing
I
to
like
do.
that. Mm.
And, the other piece, Eternal Impressions, that one I did share with that person. And every time I read it, I get choked up at different parts just because oh my God, I didn't even expect it to hit me that hard, but it's a very emotional piece for me just because it's everything that I had gone through during 2020 while I was going through my own mental health. That is what I was simultaneously going through, dealing with somebody else's mental health. And you put two fucking mentally unstable people together and it's just an explosion. So, but thank you. Yes, stronger than my pain.com. That's me on the cover, manipulated by love, sex, and depression. And the number to the suicide hotline on the back.
I'm definitely
Alrighty.
that book. Um, I can relate to all your poems. Depression, the closure, and even like loving the addict. Um, you don't think you're gonna be in these positions, right? Because when you're young, you can't wait to grow up, right? Like when you're young, like all these emotions come up. With depression, health is on a rise, crazy today. I don't think I know anybody that's mentally sane. I don't know where they at. I want to know. I don't know anybody else that.
I just tweeted the other day. I said I got a new type, stable.
Amen to that.
But when you talk about relationship you have with yourself, right? And we all know it's like not want to get out of bed, to not know the next move, not know like sometimes we keep these hidden walls, right? Not knowing that we always times, and then you talk about closure. Like I called you, I think you started off like I called you in the beginning that I know what it's like to call a person 100 times and you just want them to answer. You just need that fix. Like it's just like this. Like I call you, then I call you from a block number, then I call you from the WhatsApp number, and I know like it's crazy, but you know it's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I know, definitely. And then it's just like, what am I really trying to reach out for? Like, this conversation is going to be the same. Am I calling for closure? Am I calling to see if the situation is changing? And it's just like, once you really become at peace with yourself, and that situation was a little bit different just because, like, he like basically did leave me for somebody else, which was, now it's okay, it's whatever. But in a situation like that, when you're going through it, because I've been going through it, shit, all this whole, everybody's gone through it. Like a situation after that, it's like, what are you really calling for? This situation, that this situation is dead. So why are you trying to give it CPR and bring it back to life? You know that it's not working. You know what I mean?
Like my friends like to say, the grand finale. Why you trying to give the grand finale, Remy? Just walk away.
Exactly.
I
All
know,
right.
like
Guys, go
I can
ahead,
relate.
Melissa.
Oh, like the hurt, like even though you know it's dead, and when somebody move on with somebody, feel like a boost to the ego. Like what the hell, like that's when you get like you get back to the self love, right? You gotta tap into what's going on. But I can relate because regardless of what, I'm not even when somebody else move on. Like how can you move on? Like I'm like I still don't get it. Like I still so I'm definitely like it's like a toxic thing. I guess it's more toxic. Um,
Yeah.
but we definitely have that one person or whoever that we're dating, and they give us those attentions and those emotions, and they just unravel to something else. You're like, hold on, how did we go from loving one another to here? And that I know we were all promoting a different thing. I just wrote my book too. Like I'm like a selfish love workbook, and this is basically a workbook to work with like your affirmations and your goals and your intentions and like how you plan out your life. In regards to like these relationships, like when you're talking about them, they really fuck you up mentally, like fuck you up. And poetry, like when you express, even like loving addict, you like I never thought I'd be loving like I never thought I'd be doing these things, but here you are. I love you. I'm gonna do this for you. Here you are, like I love you. I'm gonna do this. You like all accommodating yourself for somebody else, and then
Oh
it's
my
like.
God. Don't even get me started on that situation.
All right, guys. So
Mm,
we have finally reached the end of tonight's show. And I feel like overall we took a lot of things from this show. We learned a lot about each other. And I just want to personally thank you guys that you guys are here. I want to thank you guys for coming on to Sofa Soul and actually spitting personal pieces because I've been struggling with that myself, just getting personal and letting not interfere with my relations with my families or my friends or anything. Which is the most difficult part after you put something out there, someone not feeling offended by your truth. Now, I want to thank you guys for that bravery. Um, Now, what we're gonna take from tonight is I'm just gonna be a little bit fun with it. We're gonna take from tonight is from Poetry Queen. If you're lacking on knowing that inner child, write a fucking poem. I'm sorry, I'm not being sarcastic. Melissa. If you're in a situation, write a poem. Yo, if you filling out the bag, get in the bag and write a poem. All right, guys. So,
Definitely.
guys, I want to thank you guys once again. February 16, guys, don't forget we have Soul on Tap featuring Jordan Fiction. There's going to be more information on Soul for Soul. Just stay tuned on this Facebook, on Souletri's Instagram, on Soap's Instagram, and hopefully, you guys will be back on here.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yes, thank
Peace,
you.
queens.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.